All right, Andy, it's officially the old I'm old. I'm old because I've now been branded an old guy by contracting. I don't know how you get it. Whatever it is. I've got shingles, Andy. I'm not too proud to say it. So,
Well, I mean, I'd like to say it's a great rite of passage, but it absolutely sucks. So I'm sorry you have it. I think you have in the same area I had mine. It is not a pleasant experience. It is not fun.
yeah, I had thought it was like it first started like we came home from our trip to Florida and our dogs came up and like they like to get excited and they paw you a little bit. And I thought my one dog scratched me. And I thought that's what it was.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh, that's weird. And then it became like this rash and that's not. And my wife had shingles like 10, 12 years ago, which is unusual because it's usually after 50.
yep,
And they have a vaccine for it now, but I should have gotten, but I know you got it, years ago too. It's just, man, it just sucks because and it's this chicken pox thing, right? It's
yeah.
like, it's from chicken pox. It lays dormant in your system and then it comes back up again or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have it. It's a pain. Fortunately, for most people, it sucks and it goes away. I still have lingering nerve damage because mine was so bad, but that was because it came when I got my cancer as well. So it's like a wicked one-two punch, which helped confuse my diagnosis because we thought my shingles symptoms were shingles, but I actually had my cancer symptoms that time. It was confusing, but it was a mess. But David, it stinks. I'm sorry you have it. I'm sorry you have to go through it. And public health announcement: if you're 50 or if you're immunocompromised, like get your shingles vaccine. Get your shingles vaccine. It's a two-part series. You have to be 50 to get it, or you have to pay for it in most cases. But like shingles sucks. Don't get it if you don't have to. And Dave, I'm sorry you've got it, man.
Yeah, I should have thought about the vaccine earlier, but I was listening to RFK too much, Andy. No,
Yeah,
don't get the
you don't
vaccines.
want to
But
develop adult onset, mental health issues because of the vaccine. You know what I mean?
can we go into more of this president's first 100 days, Amy? Because I want to talk about this. The shit that comes out of RFK's mouth is just and the shit that comes out of this president's mouth, like it is just like what can I say? And I'm just gonna double down on it. Like the autism comments from RFK Jr. A couple weeks back now were just so not even based in any sort of reality.
Yeah.
The obesity comments and the diabetes comments and all these things that he's making, I think he just spews shit around. And again, he's like, when I was a kid, we didn't have this. I'm like, dude, when you were a kid, like, I can't even begin to say what protected lifestyle you lived in, RFK Jr. Like, it's just so fucking ridiculous. And then the president himself just continues to spew out unbelievable lies and taking credit for things that like I, I, he must live in a distorted reality. He must. I don't know. That's all I can think of, Andy.
I mean, he does. I think he believes the nonsense he says. I thought, Governor Pritzker from Illinois has been getting a lot of attention because of his recent fired up speech, and I thought it was pretty funny. Now, given Pritzker is a nepo baby himself, son of the Hilton Empire, right? But funny when he described RFK Jr., he referred to him as a quote a weird nepo baby who once stashed a dead bear in the back seat of his car. And that's kind of who RFK Jr. is, right? And when he says stupid things like "we didn't have autism when I was a kid," well, we didn't understand how to diagnose things. We didn't know how to identify things. There's a lot of things, if you look back, we didn't take seriously, address, or publicly speak about that were still going on, like homosexuality. Like it's always been there. It's just you
The
couldn't.
PTSD, those,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, these things have always been, but we couldn't talk about them because we didn't want to be public about them, or like in the case of PTSD, we didn't understand how to diagnose it. Like we didn't know what it was. You don't think World War II vets came back with PTSD? I mean, are you kidding me? Trench warfare and the horrors they saw. So just because we didn't understand something doesn't mean it wasn't there. RFK Jr. He's speaking nonsense. It is unbelievable. And the president, Dave, the president was interviewed last night in one of the most, this term I used yesterday, I was writing, batshit crazy interviews. He says things that just make no sense. he was so confrontational and such a child. I mean, such a child, pleading with the interviewer to agree with him, like a child before his mom, just asking mom to tell him he's right and she loves him. And the interviewer wasn't having it. He was like, Mr. President, we're just going to disagree and move on. And the president was just going and going incorrectly, incorrectly. And this was relating to the White House's picture that showed Mr. Garcia from Maryland, now detained in El Salvador, with MS-13 tattoo symbols. But what had happened, the White House is alleging that he had symbols on his knuckles that represented the letters MS and the digits 1, 3. And so on a photo the president shared, they digitally put those MS 13 digits on the picture to explain what they thought his tattoos represented. The president thought those were real tattoos, the MS 13. It was a bizarre conversation. It made no sense. The president's crazy.
He's absolutely crazy, and I think just the fact, the well, one that calls into question so many other things, like with the incompetence of DHS, the incompetence of ICE, and all these other groups, that's what they would put in, or the way that they're trying to cover up some of this work that they're doing. I think it's just fascinating all around, and we had. I don't even know how to evaluate like the first 100 days. I think one of the groups I think I shared with you did a like 14 takeaway. Like what did Trump promise and then what has he delivered on? And basically, it's still a lot of mixed results or whatever, but when he came in and said, "I'm going to solve the war in Ukraine. I'm going to solve the war in Gaza." Both of those things are open. I'm going to mass deport. Well, yeah, he's done some deportations, but it's not been anywhere near the levels that he's promised and said that would be out of this country. And all of these things but he just continues to like egg prices, groceries are all going down, gas is going down, all of these things, but they're just not anchored in any sort of reality. Consumer confidence yesterday, Andy, plummeted. I mean, the economy is not going well. People are starting to feel the effects, and they have uncertainty and concern. And yet, this president continues to dig his heels in about some of the things that he feels is I I don't know. Do you just like you are you so convinced of that, or do you just feel like you have to keep saying it over and over again? It's almost he's gaslighting America, So if I could use a mental health term, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, I think he believes it, for one. I think he believes what he's saying, but it's not grounded in the realities around us, right? And so he's absolutely committed to the things he says. And I think he believes them. It just doesn't jive with reality. And right now we're about to hit a very tricky time as supply ships are coming, from China, who just posted a pretty bold video yesterday, online, and they're coming back with less stuff inside, right? There's less stuff inside because of the tariffs. So the economy booming sort of thing is going to, people are going to go to the store and see less there, as we've been talking about. It's going to look bad. It's going to hurt Americans' ability to get basic necessities. That's not good, right? And now we're going back and repealing some of the auto tariffs. And again, China drops a video talking about China being the place for safe partnership and free trade and standing up against America, the bully. Dave, we've always been saying about other countries, like we would say, hey, the Russian people are great, their government sucks. Hey, the Chinese people are great people, their government sucks. The rest of the world, to include our neighbors to the north, who just sent a powerful message to the world in their elections, are looking at America and saying, hey, the American people are still our friends, but their government is a bully and a monster. It's an unbelievable place for America to be.
Yeah, and again, you don't repair this overnight. I mean, you can't go back to how it was. It goes, oh, I'm sorry, fool. I had a bad, hangover, and that's all it was. You can't, and the scary
We're talking
part
about
is.
Pete Hegseth? Sorry.
Good one, good one, Andy. Good one. That was yeah. But that's the type of thing we have here. And look, these other countries are openly mocking our country, like China, Canada, Europe. They're all openly. like they're not coming back. And I think that's good in a lot of ways, but man, it's going to hurt the American consumer in other ways. And like what more indicators do you need? Consumer confidence is down. Travel and tourism is falling off the cliff. I mean, the number of flights inbound continues to dwindle. I mean, that those are real metrics, Andy, because those are telling real data. Those are real data points, not this whatever somebody's feeding the president when they're around the cabinet table and Mr. President, you're all great and wonderful. I mean, it kind of goes to this new media stuff too, Andy. Like, look at the shit we're doing with bringing influencers into our press room.
Yeah,
And Carolyn Levitt is I've seen bad like press secretaries before, really bad ones. Not only is she bad, but she doubles and triples down on how fucking awful she is.
yeah.
And she just has this hatred and vitriol about her that, man, she's got to be miserable to live with. And I apologize if I'm making a sexist remark or anything like that, but you get my point. Is like she's like she in this whole influencer campaign, some of this shit that's like unbelievable that's coming out of that press room, Andy.
Well, I mean, one, I don't think it's a sexist comment. I would want to live with anybody in the Trump cabinet or administration. I don't think it's anything to do with her being a
Fair.
woman. I mean, I wouldn't want to shack up with Pete Hegseth either, or Scott, or any of them. I mean, they're like, no, thank you. It's got nothing to do with her being a woman. David, it's just. I mean, we can go on and on as most of America has. Dave, I was writing yesterday. The polls for the president are unbelievably bad, right? So besides the fact that the administration is doing wild, crazy, reckless things. Americans aren't on board. Let me just highlight four quick things. This came out of a poll. So there's two really big polls that came out that showed abysmal numbers. One was from the Public Religion Research Institute. Margin of error 2%, and the numbers are horrible. The main takeaway in that one, Dave, 52% of Americans agree with the following statement. Donald Trump is a dangerous dictator whose power should be limited before he destroys American democracy. Over half of America agrees with that statement, Dave. That's insane. That's our president. But then looking at some of his policies that he wants to put in place, things he's talked about at least, by and far, Americans in a new Washington Post survey agree that when the president says something, he means it, right? He means what he says. And so in regards to a third term, 62% think he's serious. Only 18% support that. As far as shipping Americans out to foreign prisons, 71% think he's serious. 32% support that stupid ass idea. On taking Greenland, 68% think he's serious. 22% of Americans support that stupid idea. On taking Canada, 53% think he's serious. 13% agree with that stupid idea. Americans don't support this president and the batshit loony things he says, and he says them all the time, right? So America has rejected this president and the things he says and the things he's doing, and half of America genuinely believes that he's a dictator. 56% of independents agreed with that statement. He's not getting those voters back, right? So it is just a very crazy time. 3 months into this bizarre presidency, and America's like, get us the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I just don't see a way to get the fuck out. I mean, this is just how stupid our politics are today. Even if there was, this is how like little I have trust and confidence in the Republican Party. Even if there was a crime that we would feel to be so heinous that it undermined the office of the president, what hasn't he done already that undermined the legitimacy of the president? The guy sells a meme coin by in offering dinners to the top investors of that meme coin. He's leveraging the power of the presidency for his own personal wealth. I mean, this guy has no morals. He has no like value system. It's all about him. I don't know if people have noticed, but like he's been touring around the Oval Office. He's filling it with gold. He's putting like just making this I like he talk about false idols. Hey, woke Christians out there or whatever, or evangelicals who are out there on the spectrum out there, like, and I mean the nationalism spectrum, like, wake the fuck up. I mean, this is a guy who is all about himself. It just
Well,
continues to confound me.
all that support, Dave, the 82%, 83%, 70% that don't disagree with those statements I made, like his support comes from, like, by and large, again, it's in the one survey I mentioned to start, white uneducated men, devout evangelical Christians, and white women. And women, like, you guys are disappointing me. But that's still, like, he still has a strong level of support among those three populations. And that's concerning, right? That's concerning. I mean, the folks you're calling on to sort of like wake up and change remain diehard loyalists, from Mike Johnson in Congress, who will do nothing but support this president until the end, until the House burns down in ashes, right? It's going to ultimately take Congress, along with the courts, to stand up and say, okay, like, we can't keep going along with this. And I think, based on the poll numbers, based on what's going to happen with the economy, like, that time may come sooner rather than later. And we're going to see what happens. And again, can congressional Republicans find their fucking spines or not? To date, they're absolutely fucking useless, pathetic, miserable, irresponsible, going along to get along cowards. Maybe that'll change. We'll see. But Dave, I'm sure there's other things we're going to talk about besides the complete failure of Donald Trump.
And look, everyone, we just did two segments on it. We've probably done 60% of our segments over the last couple of weeks on this stuff. We don't want to talk about this. I do not want to talk about this. I would much prefer talking about things beforehand, Andy, before this president took over. But yeah, let's talk. Andy, what I didn't follow up on is like your Easter. Like, I know you had a medical procedure after
Yeah,
Easter. You weren't able to fully embrace like the Easter food because
that's right.
I mean, like a lot of people, my wife, one of them, like Easter is like neck and neck with Christmas in terms of like meals and foods and all that
Yeah,
other stuff. It
yeah.
might even be a little higher for her. So like, how was that,
So,
follow on?
so let me share a little story with you, Dave, on that. So, as we discussed, like, I bad planning on my part, scheduled colonoscopy the day after, couldn't enjoy Easter, was going to still go and enjoy family, but based on the purging of my colon, assessed that wasn't a safe move to make. So, didn't get to enjoy Easter with family and enjoy an Easter feast. So, kindly, my family prepared food for me that after my procedure, my wife and I went and picked up, came home and thought, let's indulge and enjoy some Easter leftovers, right? So,
Nothing better than holiday leftovers, Andy.
nothing better than that, right? You can eat them for days. They're delicious. I commend my sister for making some fantastic food, some nice treats that her and my mother prepared for me. So we were eating, and Dave, while we were in the course of eating, one of the items that was shared with me was this, like, unbelievably good dip, garlic dip, right? And it was meant to be used as a spread or whatever. And I was enjoying it. So great food, enjoyed it. About midweek, my wife comes down. She's like, "Look, I didn't want to say anything yesterday, but, like, you smell." I was like, like, what? She's like, "I don't know what it is, but, like, you stink." And I was like, I thought she was messing with me. I thought she was just like pulling my leg. She was like, I can't, I don't know what's going on. And like, when I realized she was serious, I was like trying to rack my brain. I was like, what is going on here? Like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't eat much. I eat some fruits, I eat some breads, I have my protein, I have my coffee. I don't have like a complex diet. I was like, what is going on? So I was thinking about it. And so the next day she was like, it's still here. Like, it's worse. I was like, what is happening?
It's
Like, what
worse.
is, yeah. I mean, like, I reeked. I was like, what is going on? Well, I think the only thing that really had changed was from that Monday night after Easter through the night before, it's like Wednesday night, I had been crushing this garlic dip. Like, I mean, I was eating it like it was hey, Trump's put tariffs on it and it's not coming back in the market. You know what I mean? And I was gobbling this thing up. And so I realized that. So as we were talking again that Thursday morning, I was like, wait, the garlic dip. And so I went to the fridge and, like, grudgingly, there's still like probably a tablespoon left. I looked at it and I was like, damn it. And I had to throw it away. And so fortunately, by the weekend, my wife's like, all right, the smell is gone. Like, you can now hug me again. So lesson learned, right? The foods we eat definitely do come out in our sweat and everything else. And if your wife has the sensitivities that my wife does, or your husband or your partner has your sense, like, be cognizant of what you're consuming, because man, she was like not having it. Like I was completely nose blind to it. I had no clue, but she was like, "You smell awful." So that was my Easter experience this year, Dave.
That's awesome. So I have a similar story. It's ironic that you say that. When we used to live in Maryland, kind of adjacent to us lived this. He's a senior member of the at NSA now, but he is Polish descent, of Polish descent, and his family from Baltimore. They would make sausages and do all this stuff, and so and he would smoke all the time, like smoke meats and all that other stuff all the time. And so one of his favorite things was to make, this garlic sausage. And so you could smell it like when you walk out the door. Like so I'd walk my dogs in the morning and you're like, oh, there he is. He's smoking today. And so there and like and he would such a great guy,
Yeah,
they would bring some over all the time. And so, and I would just devour this
yeah,
stuff.
it
My
sounds
wife's
really
not
good.
much of a meat eater, so like I would just devour this. And I had very similar experiences, especially on his garlic sausage. Like I would be, in bed and my wife would be like, I can't be here. This is just too much. Like you smell so bad. And it is amazing how that works. But oh my gosh, that's so freaking crazy. So
Yeah, it is powerful, powerful stuff. So, hey, Trader Joe's, I love your garlic dip, but I am not allowed to have it anymore. So,
So Andy, what was like of Easter, of the Easter feast? What was something you were looking? I mean, what other than the dip? I mean, what other foods did you indulge in?
yeah, so, lamb is a traditional Easter meal, right? And so my sister prepared a traditional Arabic meal that has lamb and pita and yogurt, and I've got to tell you, it was fantastic. Like it was so good, and I can eat lamb different. Like I just have like a rack of lamb, and I love lamb any way you want to serve it. But that was just absolutely delicious. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And there's other treats my family makes for holidays. My mom makes fantastic shrimp salad and things of that nature. So there's just so much to enjoy.
Yeah, the lamb is always good. My oldest son has a thing for lamb, so whenever now that he comes back to the house,
Yeah.
we try to pull that out and make some lamb. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy all the I don't know, the springiness of the foods and such, just the rolls. And my wife likes to we get a little like a honey baked ham here or something, and it's always fun to have those. The like the salads and all that other fun stuff. So good stuff there, Andy.
Honey baked is good. Like great respect for honey baked ham.
Yeah. And now I mean, we can look forward to it's almost May. May Day is tomorrow, so watch out for the protests and demonstrations, everyone out there. There's supposed to be a lot going on. We have May and then we have Memorial Day coming up, Andy. Are we gonna do our ruck march for Memorial Day this year?
So I would like to do that again, Dave. I'd like to go back out there. Um, so my current physical challenge is trying to not shit my pants when I go out for long runs and marches because with my ongoing cancer treatment, that's still one of my challenges. So I've been slowly increasing my run distance, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had two recent runs where I was squeezing that sphincter really, really tight. So my intent is still to go out and do a ruck march for Memorial Day and honor, our troops. And and I know Memorial Day is not focused just on veterans broadly, but to me, it's still part of the whole experience. But I am contemplating TMI. Like, do I have to wear an adult diaper backup so I don't shit my pants 7 miles away from home, while holding the American flag? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, for those out there who are not like big, like they may not run or walk or a whole lot or whatever. Just for those who may be listening, there's nothing worse than when you're out there and you're maybe a little distance away, and you think you're just gonna push out a fart, and you're like, oh,
That wasn't.
that's that might be a little bit more than I needed. And you're like, how do I get home as soon as possible? There have been many a times when I barely made it into the toilet, before just things just like I've been like I was speed walking or sprinting into my house as quickly as I could, and I destroyed that bathroom. It'd be bad. So
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, and while we're discussing listeners, that was exactly my experience earlier this week. I had to make a detour, come back. I had to cut my run short. I just got to like 4 miles. I came screaming through the door, like no time for nothing, and handle it. So we'll see. But Dave, yes, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more as we approach May. We'll share the idea of our Memorial Day ruck march and go out there and honor, you know, those who have fallen in service to this nation because they served this country with with honor and dignity, unlike many who serve this country today, who are in fact really just serving them fucking selves. But that's another story for another day.
yeah, another story for another day. I'm looking forward to it. And Andy, you don't have to do long. I mean, I think the walk in itself,
That's right.
in memory, in memory is what we're looking for. Maybe others can join us too.
Yeah.
So, all right, Andy, that's a pretty good pod for a midweek here, Wednesday. It's my wife's 50th birthday today, so we're gonna have some first birthday celebrations today, and so it'll be fun.
Well, happy birthday, Mrs. David Todd Pounder. Happy birthday to her. That's exciting. So big milestone. I'm glad she has her shingles taken care of, Dave.
No, I know. This is hard because like you want the day to be about her, but you're like, I'm struggling in pain right now.
You
But
suck it up, buddy. You
you
suck it up.
suck it up. Today I gotta suck it all up. So all right, Andy, with that, I will bid you, well, I'll just talk to you next time.